Okay.
Okay.
Saying preparing. This is probably gonna end up being sort of a shit show.
A usual disaster.
Okay, so I think it's live.
No.
Paul, you have a delay.
Ta-da!
Yeah, okay,
Delay.
cool. I think we're there. Start a lesson 1 minute ago. Okie dokie. So now I gotta change to the Zoom, I guess. Alrighty.
Here, you
Hey,
here?
We're trying out this new live feed thing over Zoom, and Maria, who is going to talk to you today, is in the Keys in Florida, and well, Paul and I are here on Carl in Viveros in Panama in the Las Perlas Islands. Yeah, well, and we're not so sure if this is going to work out, but we're going to give it a try.
Woo.
Yes,
It's windy here. My computer's trying to blow away.
still have 5 minutes to go until everybody comes, I guess. There's already a bunch of people waiting, and maybe I'm just gonna explain shortly how this is gonna work. When we were doing a trial earlier on today, it was that we weren't able to have both of Maria and my Zoom picture up at the same time. So apparently it swaps, whoever talks will be seen on the live feed. Sorry for that, we couldn't really figure out how to do that. And since there's a lot of boat jumps going on right now, didn't have time to research that either. So yeah, the screen will switch between us, and well, you've seen that the latest episode is about us voyaging on SV Joanna with beautiful Capitana Maria. And because everybody always has so many questions about Maria and about Joanna, and there's not really usually enough room on the episodes to answer all of those, I thought maybe she can answer those questions right to you. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a couple of questions that my patrons have asked beforehand. And you can put down some questions in the comments, and then when there's time, Maria will hopefully answer those questions later on as well. So yeah, that's about the plan. So let's see. I don't know if anybody can see us already.
I see. Is there visual?
There's no visual yet? On mine there is.
No, for me, I was just saying for everybody else.
No, on YouTube is no.
Well,
You have on YouTube visual?
I had it here on this one. Okay, well, if I
You'd think we'd be professionals at this by now, wouldn't you?
No, nothing.
All righty, so I'm not sure. Look, there's tons of people. I can see you all coming in. It's a little complicated right now because we haven't figured out this particular technique yet. Maybe before we start with the questions, Maria, tell us why you are in the Florida Keys. That is already a question, but that's my question.
That's the first question.
No,
I
it's
am
not.
in the Florida Keys. What's that?
Just until people arrive, you just answer that question.
Okay. I am in the Florida Keys. I am doing a self-quarantine before I return to the ship I work on, which is a research ship. So they obligate us to go through a 14-day self-quarantine, which then, keeps everything safe. And once we get on board, because it's a small world, once you're in that little bubble, so we don't want anything to happen when we're out in the middle of nowhere. So I've been enjoying little self-quarantine time.
Cool. You getting good food and good drinks and
I'm taking care of myself pretty well. I'm allowed to have good food, good drinks, and it's nice. I'm able to have a different compartment section of the house, so I'm able to be self-quarantined down at our family home, which is great.
But I think your mom also made you do a little bit of work on the house, right? So it's not like just making time. You just never seem to be able to escape the work at all.
No, never skip working. Never. There's always something, I'm sure. So it's when everybody's not here, I'm allowed to wander around and do things.
Right, so I'm not even sure if people can already hear us or not. It says live and 1:46. So we
Working
might
its
have
way
to do
here.
all of
Okay.
this.
You have
We might
to
have to
see.
do all of this again in a little bit. Let's see.
I hope it will start, but I have nothing. Funny, I don't have
I have the comments coming in.
no comments. My last comment is still from 1652.
Is it
Mine
my
says
thing? I think
16:58.
might have went to. I think I sent you something. Did that messenger work? No, maybe not.
Did the what?
I was trying to send to see you test your messenger.
If I can see my messenger, yeah, I gave myself a. Alrighty, so we have 45 seconds. So I think then we're gonna be live. Maybe we were live before, but
Okay.
who knows? So sorry if everybody has to hear all of what I just said again. But that's
The repeat.
we're trying. Nice toque, by the way. Is that the one my
That's
mom
right.
sent you for Christmas?
That's when your mom sent. I
Nice.
figured I'd give a little shout out to Mama Staga.
Nice. So it says waiting for wet spot pirates. We're here like since hours.
Who's waiting? Or you mean the
It
Zoom?
says
is-
on YouTube waiting for. Well, I think I'll just do the little greet again.
Okay, that's
And
fine.
then we'll start. Well, so hello everybody again. Possibly, we're not really sure. We're doing a little crazy trial run of feeding a Zoom call between Maria and I to you. Maria is currently in Florida and quarantine, and she's taking the time to answer some of your questions because some of you might know that the last episode was about all of us jumping on her boat, Joanna, and then there's always so many questions that everybody want to know about Maria and beautiful Joanna, but there's never really enough room in the episode to answer all of this. So today Maria is here just for you. Thanks, Maria. And she will answer a couple of questions that some of my patrons have asked beforehand. And then once we're through with those, hopefully we can catch some of your questions in the comments, and then we'll do some of those too. So since this is the first time that we do the whole Zoom thing, we did a trial run, but you know how things are with like the technical stuff. And so apparently the picture will jump forth and back between her and I, depending who's talking. Sorry if this is a little annoying, but that's the only way we figured out how to do it. Righty. So somebody wants to know how to ask the question too. Maria, are you getting the questions in right now, Paul?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, perfect. Are you writing some of them down?
Okay. I just take a couple
Here.
of papers out.
No, just write in the book, maybe here. Okay, so let's start with the first question. The first question that people wanted to know was, how did you, Maria, get into sailing? And another question that I think you could answer maybe at the same time is, how were you able to accumulate all your badass skills apart from sailing, like all your technical skills and whatnot?
Oh, challenging. No. I got into sailing, well, it was really most of my life. I think my parents really introduced me to most of the water world. My mom and dad are both quite sailors. So I'm growing up between Florida and the Keys, and then Nova Scotia, I had a lot of opportunity to play on the water. So I think as in for the sailing more of the traditional ways and loving old traditional ships, it was really birthed when I grew up in Nova Scotia and sort of that Chester Lunenburg area. It's all just a beautiful coastline of nothing but classic boats. So and then what was it? Was it basically what was the other side of this question there?
The other question was how you maintained all your badass skills, like welding and mechanics. And,
well, yeah, okay. I think those more came not thinking that they're badass, probably, and just survival. If anything, that was more coming from just people I've met who were really open-hearted to share their knowledge with me. My grandfather, my brothers, my sisters. It goes into, being the last child of 7. You end up figuring out how to deal with things quickly yourself and watch what everybody else is doing. And so I think that really helped out when I started to join into sailing on tall ships. I picked up a lot when I worked on the Picton Castle. I had great crew above me so my chief mate taught me to do a lot of the welding. So I would do that on my off watches. I would try to learn something from him, and then I would take some time off watch to learn things from the mates. So basically, at any point in time, I could grab a little bit of something and knowledge. I would take the opportunity. That's about it, really. I mean, it's sort of living the life, I guess.
Learning things on the go, basically, every now and then, here and there. Growing with the projects that come.
That's right. The hard knocks of it all. A jack of all trades, but definitely no master of none.
Oh, man. Okay, we have a little accident here.
Technical difficulty on the Panama side.
I think I burned Paul, or he burned himself.
Well, that's all right.
This end, the quite windy day is starting again in the Keys, so the computer might occasionally feel like it's going to fall over. It is, huh? It's a lovely place to be compounded in.
Holy crap, like pool and everything, man. I envy you a little bit. Well, we've got the ocean. So
I know. You have the beautiful ocean, yeah. If I could leave it, I could be able to down the way. We have quite a bit of ocean, obviously, being on an island.
Yeah. So the next question that some of my patrons asked was, how did you find your beautiful boat, Joanna? Or maybe, which is how did you find her, and how did she get named?
Well, Joanna actually was probably a largest drive of my father. I had come back from the second world voyage I was on. And I think it was the first thing he said when I got to the dock. He just said, I got a boat for you. You've got to go check it out. Because he always knew, I had friends, and we've always talked about really wanting to do our own thing and find a boat that we could basically just do anything we wanted to, go inside and pull a wall out and build whatever we might want to do. And so we were kind of being a little picky about it, I guess. and then also, it wasn't like we were millionaires or anything. So we had to do a lot of work in between. And so then my father, when I went back and I got back to, at that time we were living in PEI, Prince Edward Island. And he took me on a drive and he said, what do you think of this one? And then, it was right away pulled up. It was this old, as you see her, this old rugged old French lady just sitting in the yard ready to go somewhere in Surrey, PEI. And she was magnificent. Right away, my dreams just went, I was like, this is it. And it even had a crow's nest. I was like, oh my gosh, how can you get that on a boat that's this size? So it was brought all these old traditional tall ship days right back into one scoop in a vessel that was, in my mind, it still was feasible to handle. And so my friend Kathy and I, it was actually originally my cousins, Vander and Kathy and I, we sort of had derived this plan to want to do it. And we just slowly worked our way to collecting. And then my cousin wasn't able to join the rest of it away, but Kathy and I said, you know what, screw it. I think we can do this. And we put it all together and left, probably not at the greatest time of year, but you know what? We wanted to get the boat back down.
Sounds familiar.
New York, yeah. We forced our way in the midst of the winter time in the North Atlantic, and it all worked out in the end. So it was really, I think it was really my dad who was the one who found Joanna. And as for her name, that was another story in between where we hadn't really known. We knew that it's been owned by 3 owners, me the third, Kathy and I. And the second owner, he told us a bit of the story about how he collected the boat. And as we were, it's kind of interesting, we were on the boat and we kept cleaning the bilges and we were cleaning lots of sorts of stuff when we found lots of books, and we kept finding these cards that would mention a lady's name, Marie. And she ended up being the lady who built the boat with her boyfriend at the time in Quebec. And so as we hunted more, we called them up, and they were in, we called the number actually that was on the card, and it just happened to be a same number, and we spoke with Marie, and she told us the story. And Joanna is the daughter of the builder, Antonio, and he was Portuguese. And then from there, we just knew, we couldn't change the name, so we kept it because they ended up, they put blood, sweat, and soul into the boat just as much as we have, and their story is just amazing. That's kept her alive. So Joanna is the daughter of Antonio.
Alrighty, I think I figured out, sorry for the break, but I think I figured out what's happening. It went into a different link. So people are on the wrong link. I just have to quickly write in the other chat of the other live feed.
Just send people over?
Yeah.
Okay. I keep you entertained, I give you a little dance.
Okay, so message was
People always have some kind of technical difficulties on their end, you guys. I mean, Lightspell Pirates might have to get a camera assistant or a computer assistant of some sort.
So that's interesting. Now it doesn't let me do this. Okay, wait, give me a second. Now it's all gone. Oh my God. Alrighty, well, chaos. Well, some people will find us, some people won't. Some people will be angry, some people won't. We'll just keep on going with the
So you could get a message back out. I guess you could send it again up on your page, maybe.
Yeah, with my current setup, it's I can't really access anything because I'm the okay, let's try.
See if I can share something with you.
So in the meantime, you can answer another question.
Sure.
How did you guys end up in the charter business?
The charter business, well, as I said, we always were looking for basically keeping our minds and options open to do quite a bit with Joanna, and started wanting to do some things of cargo and anything. And we just sort of had left the Eastern Caribbean and made our way down the coast, and we made it into Sandblast, into Panama. And it was really, you know, as many people know, Sandblast is beautiful. So it was an opportunity just to open up, I think, where we felt comfortable, and we knew that what we could do with the boat would be easy on us. And we weren't really looking for like, I don't know, like a full-on charter business at the time. It sort of just moved itself into it slowly because we really eventually got passed by word of mouth to people. And it really worked out really well. The folks who came on board were always the greatest. We really got blessed just as much as that they say we gave them. So I think it was a satisfying business at the time, and we just sort of kept going with it. And that was, geez, I can't even count the years now. I lose my dates because we live in these beautiful countries and places that everything sort of molds together. Nikki's better at that than I am. But it has, and the charter business, I think, was just more for the season that we had it, and then the enjoyment to really share the experiences that we had on the boat in a way, and also be able to, you know, financially support Joanna, which is, as you see, she's a hefty girl, so she does need a little TLC.
She's a big hefty girl.
She's a hefty girl, yeah. And that's sort of why we got into it. And we fell in love with Panama area, so it was just sort of inevitable, I guess, if we're going to be there that long.
And it was ideal as well in the size.
It was, yeah, exactly.
It was such a great location for doing it.
And I mean, even both sides, as we found since we went onto the Pacific side, the Pearls is amazing.
The Pearls, yeah, a little bit more tricky for us because it was new, but
yeah, that's right.
I think in the dry season, for sure, the Pearls are a really great destination too. A bit more predictable than in rainy season. It
seems so. Yeah, we only had a short bit of time for the Pearls section, but it was definitely, you can see the difference. And then you can definitely see the weather that we used to get in Sandblast side. We experienced it on the Pearls quite a bit differently.
And well, since we're talking about the charters, there was another question is since you started the journey out with Kathy on Joanna, so what happened to Kathy?
Well, you know, many things can happen when you're sailing in over deep water. I needed a little extra dollars. What are you talking about now? No, Kathy, as everything happens in the cruising world, we have an awesome partnership with the boat, but we always knew that there was high possibility that we would meet somebody that we fall in love with. And so Kathy ended up finding a great guy named Kirk, and he was had just finished up his circumnavigation, and so those guys now are just living it up. They enjoyed working together, and
did I kill you?
I'm doing delivery businesses, and then also now they're traveling. They're trying out the little RV time during this whole Corona time. So I still keep in contact. Cass will stop in and enjoy
still have the feed?
coming back to see Joanna and seeing me, and then she'll move on to helping teach salsa, which is her boyfriend's boat.
Man,
she's still around.
She's still around.
I didn't knock her off that fast.
just slightly somewhere else.
Yeah.
Then there was a question. Somebody wanted to know, when was the last time that Joanna was on the hard and had her bottom done?
The last time she was, I think it's almost been 3.5 years now. Yeah, 4 years. Was the last time that she got hauled out. And really, I'd like to try to do it every 2 years, just because it's sailboat and it's nice to keep up on those things, and you don't really have to, if you let them go too long, which is unfortunately sort of what we're getting at now, it's just that many more hours and that many more flats of beer you have to deal with.
Yeah, I just poked around in her lower parts yesterday, cleaning out the intake of the engine and the generator, and she was saying to me, somebody needs to come and clean me and give me a hand down here, possibly.
Yeah, I think she would definitely love that. A little extra scrubbing hands. She's always enjoyed.
Maybe we'll send the Kunas down there to give her a little scrape.
That would be great. She's used to she's probably the Kunas are the only one she does like having her bum touched by.
Yeah, right.
She's used to that. They're pretty gentle about it and fast.
Yeah, they're really fast. One other question was, in a world of no restrictions, like money or boat wise, where would you like to sail? Like, what would be the destination that you would really want to sail to?
Oh, it's really hard to say that. I have been blessed to be able to travel quite a bit, so I have places that I remember and I'd love to get back to. And yet it's another spirit with Joanna, because she really finds her own adventures at times. So at the moment I'm enjoying the trials and tribulations we're going through with In Motion. So with the plastic production line. So kind of thinking staying coastal is something that it's not a bad idea, as in little coastal sections of moving up, I don't know, maybe more towards California. I'd love to see Alaska area, but moving up that whole section of, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, just to see that, and maybe be able to do some things along the way by doing our projects and workshops and things that we could. So as in destination for her, I guess there isn't really a mass direction. It's just always wherever the energy feels right and the wind takes us.
Yeah, that's true. That's the best way to go, I think, and the easiest.
Yeah.
Well, not.
Yeah, I mean, I could say I'd love to make it back to Vanuatu one day, which I loved. It was a fantastic, beautiful place that I went to and got to experience.
Yeah,
but you never know, maybe.
From the Pacific area sounded like you really enjoyed the people there and the island life.
It is. It's beautiful, all those areas, but also is
how about Pitcairn? Didn't you always want to go back to Pitcairn as well?
I definitely wanted to go back to Pitcairn. I had promised them, I think, one day that I would return and sail through one of the passes there that they sort of name after some of the old sailors. So Irving Johnson used to go there quite a bit, and so he's one of those legend names that I always grew up with hearing about. So I would love to return, and they're fantastic, beautiful people. They take you in like massive bear hugs, and then love to tease you like crazy later.
Cool.
Right up the North Coast Alley.
Yeah. Whoa,
That's good, right?
I think that's Pecky.
Yeah.
Paul parked Pecky as usual in a way that she's molesting Carl, you know.
She's giving him a little poke here and there.
Yeah, a little jab in the lower, you know, maybe in the kidneys or something.
Lovely.
Another question was do you speak any other languages?
No, well, I speak Maria. That's one that's really hard for people to catch up on sometimes.
That's sometimes a foreign language to some people.
It can be. It can be. I have a tendency to do the very much of a mumble, so you have to get used to that. But otherwise than that, I am what I call myself as a drinker language. I can, like, when I get drunk, I get more, you know, fluent in certain aspects of things, or at least I think I am. But I know I have a minimal amount of my of Spanish. I think now I probably have a little bit more Spanish than I did my understandable French when I was young, and that was just survival to go, where's the bathroom, and
You understand quite a bit of Spanish. I mean, and you do
yeah,
speak, you get along with it, I'd say.
I get along with it. I definitely understand it more than I speak it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Just due to that fear factor that you have to, you know, reach through sometimes.
Someone wanted to know if you stay on Joanna on off season, but I guess that's just like when you're chartering. So I guess for you there isn't really too much off season anyways, as in, you know, since you live on the boat, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely, she's a 24/7. I pretty much, it's just in these past year and a half or so have I really been off Joanna. So I mostly have just lived on Joanna 24/7 for the past 15 to 16 years I've owned her.
And then somebody wanted to know how you and I met.
Oh, well, I think it might have been
To do with the Trinella.
Yeah, our friend James, I think, introduced you and I. He had brought you along to a barbecue party I think we were having in San Blas at the time. Maybe it just inhaled a bug. And then we met when we were on what we call Disney Dupe in San Blas. And since then, I think after that, we were off to go visit or try to go to one of the Elefante to go watch one of the football games, I believe.
Yeah, I think that was, and then there was this crazy thing where you jumped off the boat and swam over.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a story for, you know, like the campfire when you guys are around the
campfire. Yeah, there is one of those stories.
Things that are, you know, not for the internet audience.
No, that's more for when we're like a personal across the bar table, I think.
Exactly. So somebody we're done now with the Patreon questions, and we're gonna try and shoot out some of the questions that we have gathered from the live feed. Easy thing, how old is Joanna? Maybe you can say what type she is and what year she was built in and where she was built.
Joanna's staff? Okay, so she was, sorry, you kind of broke up there for me.
So what year was she built? What kind of boat is she? What model, like her length, and maybe just a couple of facts about her, and where she was built.
She was built in Quebec. She was actually hand built by Marie, the one I told you before, and they have basically built her in their backyard, and took them almost a year and a half, which is quite quick for about that size. But working
nonstop, a year and a half.
24/7. Yeah, nonstop, 24/7. At least this is the stories I've had, and they had a welder friend that would come every day, and so they put her together then, and then they launched her. It was about 73 or so, and then they sailed her over to Europe to join in a lot of the tall ship regattas that were happening over in Europe, and then they brought her back, and she's overall 75 feet.
Don't tell that in the marina, because in the paperwork it only says 60.
The paperwork, 65 is the paperwork.
65.
Well, there's a few things added. So the bumpkin, I think, got a little bit.
The shanty town.
Shanty town, exactly. And then she is obviously very comfy. She's not incredibly wise. She's only 15, and she is called a manana design, which is by Herreshoff. It was one of his older designs, and it was originally a centerboard design. So we have this box that's designed inside, but that is now just basically used for a ballast point. And they've gotten rid of the centerboard, and she's a full keel, so she draws about 7 feet. Scooching over at 6.5.
No wonder that I nearly beached her.
6.5. 6.5. Yeah, well.
That's why you said 6 feet. You said 6, now you're saying 7.
Right, years. I think I've seen you written. I think I've seen you written 6.5, 7 feet to lots of people on your blog.
No way.
That could have been just, when we had the cargo one. We were thinking she just dropped a little heavier.
Possibly, yeah.
But yeah, if nobody knows that story, watch out when you let somebody with what was your meter draft? It's a very minimal
1.3 meters.
Anchor your boat next to Chame. Because I think she just wanted to get rid of some of the. Oh yeah. Oh, there you go. More about that the next episode.
Cool. And another question was, what are the three main things that you love about Joanna, and the 3 main things that you hate about or dislike on Joanna? That's a good question.
Ooh, let's see. So 3 main things I love about Joanna is the incredible spirit she seems to send out on her own, that creates these characters that come up, or the ones who join the boat. I mean, she absolutely has this intense ability to just know who needs her or who we need her as well. So it's really interesting that way. That's probably one of the biggest ones I love. I love her old traditional ways. It's just gorgeous. There's old lines and she's an old stouty girl. So it's just sort of like myself, I guess, and a lot of the women I know in my world. And then what else? Let's see. I mean, her sails are a big thing. They're really pretty, of course. And let's see, I guess it's I love that you can go inside of Joanna and you can't, it's barely you can sense anything happening outside. She is like Marie used to say, she's a mother chicken. She just holds you in her wings and you go inside and you can't hear anything that's going on. Yeah, exactly.
That's totally true. I love that about her.
Huh?
Outside there's a massive storm honking, and if you're on Carl, you think the world is gonna like drown. But if you're on Joanna, it's just like, yeah, you want another drink? Because really, anything happening? No.
You can see that little hatch pop up like a hedgehog or groundhog. You're like, and it's like
that's a really great thing about her. She makes you feel really safe.
Yeah, and then everybody really teases a lot because they look at her very low freeboard and they're like, oh my gosh, like they can't imagine it. But Herreshoff was really not idiot designing in that, because I mean, in his mind, you don't necessarily need to live below. You should be sailing the boat. So he actually made the boat very comfortable by giving these very shallow freeboard lines. So she just sits squatly and nicely and has a very minimal amount of movement.
Yeah, she does. It's true. Well, I think those are really beautiful things that you said about Joanna. I think many people would wish they could say such beautiful things about their vessel. But so there might be probably 3 things that you might not like so much about Joanna. I'm thinking rust. That would be the first thing that comes to my mind.
That's big. Yeah, the rust part is definitely, and how can I really complain about her? Really, that's kind of a hard thing to do, since it's really up to me to keep that organized. But it is, the steel is definitely one of those challenges. Let us see what else would be. I can't say I have any issues with the size of her, because I don't really, other than obviously if you wanted to do some kind of marina entry or yards, it gets a bit expensive in that marina. So that does get, and the weight, so that does make it tricky to travel, or at least when you want to lift out and anything like that. So she was a little, obviously the boat's a little smaller, makes those things easier. But also makes things get easier because the boat is large enough that you can actually do without needing to only use marine grade parts, so to speak. And another dislike, I have to admit, I guess I don't have that many.
That's good. I didn't think you would have too many.
No, I can't think of too many. Occasionally, I like to play that Panamanian song, and she does her bitchy things, and she says, "So I want to do that. Why are you gonna treat me that way,
Joanna?
Joanna? Why are you gonna treat me that way?"
So what else do we have? Would you take Joanna across the Atlantic? Meaning you have to go back through the canal and then.
I was thinking of the Atlantic crossing, actually. I would love to see like the Azores. Well, I'd love to see Norway and all those upper countries. And so I have thought about doing an Atlantic crossing. I've thought about obviously going back home to Nova Scotia with her, which is then it's very not that far to do a jump across to Europe in some way. So it's as the tide turns, we'd have to see how it goes, but definitely it would be an interest.
It would. That would truly be a beautiful voyage for her.
Yeah, it would be. I'd love to see even going, higher up to Greenland and Iceland.
Well, somebody else is asking about the complete other direction. Are you going to New Zealand with Joanna?
Would I like to go to New Zealand? I think I would love to go anywhere I could with Joanna if it was feasible and possible. New Zealand is actually on my bucket list. I have yet to be there rather, and never experienced it. I have many friends who have gone, and friend Barry, he sends me photos all the time of the gorgeous and loveliness. So I would really love to see such a incredible country with mountains to see like that. That's something I really
I've
enjoy.
always been thinking New Zealand is a country that can be visited like later in life with a van or something.
Yeah, I could definitely see myself there trucking around with that.
Why don't we do that tuk-tuk thing that we always wanted to do and do that in New Zealand? The tuk-tuk fueled by fuel made from plastic.
Oh, see? That's true. We might freeze a little with the tuk-tuk, but I think it could happen.
Well,
I've been designing my tuk-tuk ideas a little bit better, especially if I start making it stateside. I need to make it a bit more, warm-wise, insulated from heating somewhere. But I mean, you could definitely run a tuk-tuk totally on electric energy with little solar panel brackets all over the place.
That too. What type of research vessel are you going to work on?
She's a global research vessel. She comes to the University of Washington, and what we basically are, I just say we do all sorts of science. We make science happen.
I like that.
Yeah. No, so we join in.
She's what, 100 and something meters long, or?
She comes from, what'd you say?
How long is she? 100 and something, 120?
Sorry, hold on. 280, I think you just said. Feet, well, yeah, 280 feet. But yeah, basically, it's when she leaves, right now she's just came to the canal. She's headed up to Florida.
So we missed her. Why didn't you tell me? I would have waved when she was coming by.
I know you should have. You could have watched the whole little canal video. Checked it out.
Oh, bummer. Well.
But it's great to work on because you get to see quite a bit of what is really happening and what they're interested in science now and what they're asking from the ocean and trying to study all the different temperatures in the sea and seismic graphing all about the ocean, taking core samples. So there's a lot of stuff going on that you wouldn't get to see if you're just working on sort of any kind of other commercial vessel.
And so you said they're like trying to look for like freshwater pockets or something below the ocean surface.
Sometimes
or on the
it depends on what science group is on. They sometimes look for the freshwater streams. It's really a lot of taking data samples and sensing of temperatures and salinity of the sea and all parts of the ocean. They set adrift a lot of these. Oh, geez, I forgot their names now. Sorry, I can't remember, but They said getting my science brain fart. If they were here, they'd tell me. But they basically have these little it kicks me. I can't remember it. But they send them down. They basically stay there for about 3 years, and they come up.
Oh
And
yeah,
they test
those
all the
little shooty
Yeah.
things that just
Totally.
like go with the yeah.
But they're all over. So that is one of their greatest ways of being able to take and collect samples, because they send them out on lots of different ships, and then we particularly come around and collect them all so they can bring in the data. It's definitely entertaining.
It sounds really cool. Yeah, you have room for another crew member there, maybe.
I think so. There's definitely many places to hide.
Somebody wanted to know if you're still in contact to the Tall Ship Chronicles, and for that, maybe you have to say 2-3 words what the Tall Ship Chronicles are, because Maria, you can actually find Maria in a very interesting series about her time on the Tall Ship, the Picton Castle.
Very true. Yeah, that's right. That's back in
So
the
the question
day.
is, if you're still in contact with them, I gotta grab another beer so you tell people.
No, actually, Tall Ship. Well, I mean, I'm in contact with Andrew Younghusband. Sure, I know him. He's a friend. But as in the company itself and the original production line, I know, a few of the producers. But I think, of course, as those businesses do, they sell off to somebody and as they go along. But I've heard it went on Amazon Prime, which was I've never expected, but it was quite amazing. But it was I think it was one of those original first reality TV shows that really started. It was on our first world voyage, and they joined, and they basically I was crew, so I think we were just more or less this is what's going to happen and no complaining. So they were following Andrew Younghusband and all the crew of Picton Castle, which in the end it's kind of nice to be able to go back and watch the footage of it. But it was definitely my younger years.
Somebody wants to know the name of your charter company, so I guess that would be sailjoanna.com.
That's right.
This is a good one. How do you hoist your mainsail when you sail by yourself? Give us the instructions, badass sailor chica.
I want to hear that.
Right there. You see that? That's the instructions.
And the other one too. There's the same on the other side.
It's a lot of this. It's but really, when I sail the boat, just the sails alone, or like as in moving the boat, you're asking?
No, when you sail the boat alone, like, because in the video I was explaining that one person has to hoist the throat and one person has to hoist the peak. So how do you do that? You just take them up one by one, or both at the same time, or how do you manage that with the 2 halyards?
I do, yeah. So I do have a tendency to stagger them slightly. I will take the peak. I will first, if I can, I'll start them out together, and then I'll stop for a sec, and then I'll make one off, and then I usually actually hoist the gaff, and almost till it slightly looks like it's scandalized, and that's sort of when the gaff sort of hangs down. So then I'm able to like between the two, I start to catch up right away on either two. So it sort of is a total up and down process. Sometimes one way works, sometimes it doesn't, just due to what the weather is. I try to keep the boat into the wind, and mostly I usually do the hoist of the sail. Hold on, there's something. I have some call coming in. I mostly do. Yeah, something came through. I mostly do it when I, at half anchor. So I lift the anchor, the chain up until halfway, and then I hoist my sails, at least the main, and then I go about taking the rest of the anchor up. Just so, and if I can't do it inside of an anchorage, then I will commonly go out quite a bit away from everything and just try to do what I can with into the wind. So it takes a lot of quick maneuvers and back to the helm, straighten up, back again.
I think that's pretty impressive. We have planned so many times to go out, and I wanted to film Maria doing all of this by herself, but we never really. There's so many things that we always said we wanted to do, and then
I know it's kind of like me saying to myself, I really need to set up my one halyard system, which lifts the peak and the throat at the same time, and I've never done it.
Yeah, that'd be nice too.
Yeah, I
That
just
would be
get lazy and forget about it. I mean, I have all these minions that come to the boat, so I mean, why should I?
exactly all those little worker bees. Somebody's asking if the plastic project is working okay.
Is the
Oh,
plastic
you
what?
don't have a Guinness. Are you having a Guinness?
I'm having a Guinness.
Oh, you such a bitch. Ah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, such a tease. I can't believe it. But you know what? I just ordered a bunch of tequila for my birthday party on Saturday.
Fantastic.
And
I know.
David is
Soon
gonna
Nick
make some margaritas.
Soon Nick is going to be the big 4-0.
Yeah.
And we got a wild boar.
Oh, that'll be even tastier.
It's disgusting. Why is it
Little
disgusting?
flavor.
We just chopped it up like this.
Oh yeah. Well, we did get some like a boar from the island, but we wanted to actually get it for the grill, so it's like all in whole, and we could put it on the grill nicely. But they just chopped it all up into tiny little pieces, so we probably have to make guisado, like, you know, just like the locals do, like in a like do like a stew.
Yeah.
Or something. But
That'll
we
still be
wanted to
nice,
try.
though.
Yeah, I think I don't think we'll make it on Saturday. We'll just do like a little grill fest or something, like a little barbecue thing.
Little barbecue. Nice.
Um,
Oh, I wish I could be there.
I know, P. It's so sad that you can't be there. You'll be there in
I'll be there in spirit. Yeah.
Somebody wants to know how long you're gonna be on the research vessel for.
This time I think I'll be about a month and a half here, and then, but it'll be about for the full year. I'll be off and on. I sort of get off for about a month, and then I get back on for about 2.5 months.
And somebody wanted to know, it's a little similar, but why did you choose such a big size boat and such a traditional, basically low tech kind of vessel?
I think the size itself was, I suppose in size it was smaller than what I've always worked on, so I thought it was kind of tinier. and then outside of that, selecting, or like when we saw, like I had mentioned kind of earlier, we kind of really wanted something that didn't really have a limitation to it, so we could go far if we wanted to. And another idea was the boat is actually, she is square rigged. She has three squares. So we really did enjoy to have that really old, beautiful way of sailing. Since Kathy and I had just come off of sailing from circumnavigation on the Picton Castle. So at that time, we were really, it was the only thing we knew. And
well, so that means you're actually lucky that you didn't go into like a 100-meter boat. You're meaning?
Yeah. That's
you probably
true.
would have if you could have, huh?
You never know. I don't know. It's really interesting, but I think why she came along and we accepted her, it was definitely, the size really didn't feel that overwhelming, and it was the comfort to have this kind of original similarity of the steel that we already knew how to work with. And the rigging, we already understood that we could change it and do it all again. So all those things were kind of cost effective for us.
Maybe you want to tell people how you changed the rigging in Workman Island in San Blas.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we anytime we needed something, we would buy the wire, and I was trained in wire splicing, so most of our rigging is all galvanized, and we put seine twine now, basically a traditional way, wrap it and serve it, and it's just, as long as you can keep that coating with the tar on it, it lasts for quite a few years, and which was great. And we always wanted to do that in the tropical paradise place, just drop an anchor and start working on our rigging and slowly change out each gear.
And then you put them on the palm trees and like splice them, like using the palm trees for holding up the
we would stretch them between the palm trees so we could serve them, which is a mallet. So you'd have to pass this mallet around, and so we'd end up spinning we'd get the mallet going, and somebody would stand in the one end and just spin the wire, and so it would actually just take itself and work its way all the way down. And And of course, the other person was able to walk over, hand a beer.
I think that would have been the coolest effort to film. If I had known you by that time already, I would have totally filmed that.
Well, it might have been another little touch of Joanna's secret is when we had to change our engine out. It was kind of similar to Nika's designing of taking engines out. It was very a rustic way of, okay, this is going to fit out this door. And somehow, and we ended up being in Yarmouth, which has about 30 to 35 feet tide. So it was high tide when we started, and we lashed the engine, and then we just let the tide go down, and so the engine just slowly got lifted out of the boat, and we'd move it each an inch as we went, and then eventually it was outside, and we just sat down and enjoyed our beer, and it was hanging off the side of the pier. We got the local John guy to come down, and he lifted it up with his tractor, moved it onto the dock. We're ready to change the new one.
Well, and you have to say with that, I mean, Carl's engine is like 43 horsepower, so we're talking 250 kilos. Your engine is what, 210 horsepower?
That's right.
So it weighs how
right,
much?
Yeah. That engine, I actually don't even know how much the engine weighs. Obviously more than yours.
Obviously, a lot more than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet one of your followers would throw out that. Just ask him, how much does a Cummins engine weigh? Somebody will throw the number out for us.
Probably, yeah. Right. Paul, is there any more questions that we have, or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna.
What are you doing on the research vessel?
Oh, what's your job on the research vessel?
What do I do? We basically stand around. We do a hurry up and wait moments. Look around. No, no, we.
Sounds like your usual work on the boat. That's how I see you when we sail together.
Yeah, it comes naturally after all. No, our positions are what we call ABs, so we're basically deck crew. And if there's crane maneuvers that need to be done, we'll take care of those. If there's anything that needs to be, as in the science gear, we help the scientists to launch gear on and off the ship, bring in gear, bring in the little RVs and the submarines that might need to come on board, take care of the ship's duties every day, make sure the ship is ship shape and clean. Also do standing watches. So it's a constant clock over time on watch standing. And so it's just it's an everyday process of making sure the ship is orderly and still keeping her afloat at the same time. But she does herself. She's quite an amazing old girl. I saw somebody say, no, I was born down here in the Florida Keys, not Nova Scotia, I saw. But that's my dad. He's from that area.
Well, you have another little sea cow dog.
Sea cow?
We have another doggy dog.
Oh, I think someday I will. But it's right now it's a lot of traveling that's going on, and it's a little trickier. But I think definitely I'll have a dog again one day.
Oh, people want to know where they can donate to get you an electrical winch. I would say, by the way, Maria would not like an electrical winch. What she really wants is an air compressor and a needle gun, and you can send her money through PayPal. Her PayPal is sailjoannapaypal@gmail.com. I'll repeat that. sailjoannapaypal@gmail.com. So if you want to throw this beautiful lady with all her skills and her great smile a couple of dimes so she can get an air compressor and a needle gun so she can take care of some of the rust on good old Jojo, I think that would be really, really awesome.
A little blood, sweat, and tear action. Everybody will love me in the bay then.
And somebody's asking who's maintaining Joanna whilst Maria's gone. Well, guess who that might be?
Oh, Nika.
Yesterday, 5 hours of sanding deck boxes. Already painted the mizzen mast with 2 layers of primer. Had to clear some of the seacocks yesterday and had a little troubleshooting with the generator on Joanna yesterday too. Had to refill the battery water. And
they were on it.
But the thing is,
fantastic to be able to have somebody do that.
The only reason why I'm actually doing that is because Maria lets me use her freezer as basically my my supermarket that I have on Joanna. So I do a big shopping, and then I put all the stuff into Maria's freezer, and then I go around the aisles, and I come back every now and then, and I go, oh, let's see what the supermarket has to offer, and the supermarket has to offer this round. And she also lets me use her washing machine, so it's a tip for tat.
I know, luxuries of Joanna. Washing machine, she has shower, hot water. Well, actually, that one I have to fix, but
You switched all the water off, so there's no water now.
Yeah, I did shut all that down. But it sounded like you were able to get some water inside the bilges the other day, so that worked out.
That was cool.
Did I do?
You just opened up when I said to you, can you try if the water's coming, and you just open it up without putting anything like any bucket or the little.
I think it's okay. She likes to carry her own.
Yeah. Huh?
she likes to collect some occasionally like that. Keeps it for later.
There's a big rag underneath.
What's this saying?
Where she's born.
Oh yeah, okay, we had that. Okay, so obviously now somebody asked about the weight of the Cummins engine. Obviously, what kind of rust paint do you use? The Coral Seal?
I think somebody said the weight of the engine is 500 kilograms about.
Oh, that might be true. That's about double the weight of mine. Yeah, that's possible.
That's fine. Goes with the PayPal, then no PayPal.
PayPal. Yeah, some people are being funny. So, what rust paint are you using?
What rust paint?
Yeah,
I use Jotun. Well, we have Jotun for our bottom paint, and then as in the production line of a lot of times it's been geez, I have to do so many now. We were using International as the last one, and I've been lately doing the Coral Seal treatment, so asphalt and Coral Seal. So I bring it down to bare metal, try to shine it up the best I can, and then I do about 5 washes of Osco and scrub it with wire brush and give it a good rinse, and then go at it with some Coral Seal, and then from there I start the primer process.
Have you ever sailed on a catamaran? Traitor!
I have sailed on a catamaran before, not for very long, but I've definitely sailed on them.
So what's your position towards catamarans versus monohull?
I think they have a beautiful aspect about them for the tropical areas and the loveliness of space and size. I'm not much of a speed sailor, so I couldn't speak about some of the nice faster cats. I just have to say that they scare me a bit because they always seem very loud and creaky. So it always sounds like you feel like something's going to go at some point, but that not that it will. It's just sort of that's my take on them sometimes.
Very well said. When will you start your own YouTube channel? People are wondering because they want to see more of you.
Well, I think if I had, I guess, somebody to do the editing probably and the filming and then do the work, or somebody can come down and do all the work with Joanna, and then I'll do the editing and the filming. Who's to say? I don't think that would probably really happen. Maybe I could start a video of like how to do rust busting, which is not very complicated, but
Rust busting with the new compressor and needle gun that people are gonna buy.
Right? There you go. I'm definitely understandable how to use tools. Got it all for woodworking and any metalworking. I'll be able to sponsor those for anyone.
I still believe that you should do like a 3-month yard thing where you invite people to come and you teach them how to use certain things, and whilst you teach them, they just take care of Joanna's yearly maintenance. I think that would be perfect. I could come and film,
well, there you go. See, if you can definitely, like I said, there's somebody who can do the filming and like putting it together. I think that would be awesome. I definitely I'm open to doing a workshop, work your butt off workshop. Wake up every day. I mean, I'll give you occasional time off depending on what tropical paradise we might be sitting in. But it's good to know how to have a little elbow sweat there and enjoyable laughs. It would definitely be fun.
Righty. Well, I think that's more or less it. I hope we've answered. I think we've covered quite a bit. And if not, then we can always do this again. And well, I guess when you're back from your your work, I would think maybe we have a little capful
Oh.
together before
I think
we
it's a good call.
finish up here.
Uh-oh, I'm not sure. Actually, I might have to do a bottle full. I'm not sure. Dad put only a cork in this one, so.
Yeah, I only have a cork too, so let's just do the bottle.
All right. Bottle full.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys for listening to me babble.
Oh,
Well,
I
that's
think
good. Maybe I'll have another one of those. I might have to have two of those.
Even me, who's heard all of this a couple of times before, I always love to hear you talk about all of this. So I'm sure everybody enjoyed it.
Well, I'm happy. Thanks for, it was nice to see everybody and connect again since I've been up here away from the world of the boat world for a little bit, at least the sailboats. And thank you guys for taking care of Joanna. And I'm sure it makes her little belly heart glow all the time.
She misses you
enjoys to have the
dearly.
company.
So, yeah.
She misses you dearly. She's sitting over here and the sun is just setting and she's beautiful as ever. And we go water your garden every 2 days and it's doing very well.
Oh, I can't wait to come back. I mean, maybe I'll have some tomatoes on that little tree, huh?
Yeah, the tomato's not going so well. The cactus is going really, really well. But
Oh, okay. I might
your
have to change the
pineapple is
bucket.
going crazy. I'm not sure. Maybe that will even. I don't know how the pine like that they grow from the middle. I think, but it might need a bigger pot.
Yeah, it probably does. But those are. I have to tell everybody that they're not the only thing that I grow are cactus type plants. So most of that was my father who had the green thumb.
Succulents and cacti are like what I can grow. Everything else.
Yeah, the pineapple he did as well as the tomatoes. So and pepper, I think there's a pepper.
And the peppers are not doing too bad.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see them when I get back, and hopefully I won't kill them off.
We'll see about that. Well, Sailor Girl, thank you for your time. Thank you everybody for joining. Sorry that we didn't read better through the comments. I think we got all the questions, but we couldn't really do the multitasking of like saying hi in the comments to people. But we tried our best. I think Maria did a really great job of answering all your questions, and we're gonna have one more episode coming up about the travels with Joanna. So that'll be exciting. And what happened and why I was parking Joanna Carl style, and you know the mix.
Oh, right.
6 and 7 feet.
That'll be an interesting. That'll be an entertaining one.
Walk off Joanna to
That was good.
Literally.
It
was like good to hear. I think Paul handed me a beer, so it was pretty close.
I think that might have been the case.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
everybody have a great day. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for being here, everybody, and goodbye.
Thanks everybody for always giving me support through Nikki's channel.
Righty. Au revoir.
Ciao.
Salut, ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Have a great evening.